I've been watching a number of the videos for the network tests and different like content that people put up after having played it for quite a while, and I gotta say things are looking really good. A couple nitpicks that I have, and which are I'm curious. It's a lot of it's just unknown. Like, but what is the crafting actually doing for us? Is it an optional system that you don't need to do? If so, why is it in the game? Will there be um, is it required? Does content get so difficult that you want to use crafting and consumables and that sort of thing? I think it's really fun. I think it's good. It might be good for challenge runs as well, different like styles of challenge runs, like survival runs or whatever. Will there be rare types of things that you can craft? A lot of questions here. I'm not sure if it's like a critique necessarily, but I'm just uncertain about it. Another thing too that is a bit I think off is the animals. It's really easy to walk up. You can just walk up and just slap a bird. You can just walk up to a bird and slap it, and it's like, really, wouldn't a bird be a bit more skittish than that? Take a page perhaps from Breath of the Wild in this situation, because the animals in that game work really well. They're like properly skittish, and hunting is just a little bit of a challenge and a little bit rewarding. If you can just walk up to a bird and slap it, it's like, why am I even doing this? You know what I mean? It's like, what's the point of making me even do that in the first place? Um, Overall, though, very minor critiques. The critics I've seen, they're like, well, the compass isn't in the right place, or the graphics are running on a PlayStation 4.9 instead of a PlayStation 5. It's like okay, if these are the complaints they're making, then you're 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 in the clear. It's going to live up to the hype, which is like very awesome. So those are some things that are in the gray or negative area that I wanted to share. But some positive things though, the spells aside from the spells looking really good, they look really cool. Is we now have like proper diversity. It seems to be proper diversity of attacking spells. We have some true AOE, and you didn't really have much AOE previously. Remember the raining spell that they put in the game preview? That's a true AoE. Also uses a zoning spell. This magical bubble spell right here, this is actually could be a effective spell at zoning players, especially. What's the mana cost in this? It's kind of low, right? This could be a very effective spell for zoning players. I wish they make the bubbles last longer, like several more seconds would be interesting, or that sort of thing. Um, there and because like in Dark Souls 3, it's like, you know, soul arrow, heavy soul arrow, great heavy soul arrow, dart, Pharaon dart, I mean great dart, soul spear, crystal soul spear, and it's like these are all just shooting in a straight line. you know I'm not against variation. Because that variation between those different spells is important, and sometimes those subtle differences work well with certain builds and certain playstyles. But I am against it if it's at the cost of like overall spell diversity, and it was, which is why it's bad. It's not that good. It's not bad. It's not too bad, but it's like not great. It's pretty meh. This looks way better. So we do have that variation here. This spell right here, and the spell that we see like right around here, these are very similar spells, but this could have this has a higher stat requirement, higher mana cost, and so on. So sometimes it might have like a slightly longer cast time or something like that. That's good to have, but also have spells like this. This is improper AoE, and this is going to change how you play and what you decide. Effective mage would decide different spells at different times. Yeah, so it's good to see proper AoE zoning spells. I want to see more interesting spells, like quirky things that aren't obviously like you're not totally aware how to use it at first, like levitation, or like create a barrier of some sort where you can like delay an engagement in some way. Those are interesting spells to me. Yeah, that's good too. One more comment too about the difficulty of the game. So people are like, well, is the game too easy? So I've been seeing some streamers play as well, and I don't think that the game is not. We'll say it this way: while it is overall easier, I'm going to bet it's overall easier than typical FromSoft games, but the required content is not overall easier. So there's all this additional content they add to the game, and this is actually pretty smart because like if you're a player who's not that great, like, or you're not quite confident, there's tons of content that you can run around into, get experience, level up, pad your stats, find new toys, find upgrades, and then you can keep jumping back to that stuff when you're stuck on a boss and have fun still. This is smart, right? Because like when you start in Dark Souls 3 and you go to Udix Gunder, or however his name is pronounced, you only have Cemetery Ash, and you can't level, and you can't get new weapons, and it's just, you're just stuck against that boss, period. That you have to beat that boss. That is a thing of the past based on the network test, which is a really good thing. So more players who were unable to beat those tutorial bosses can get their bearings in the world, and they'll be like really over leveled, and that's totally fine, because while stats are important, it's not the primary driving force in the game. It's absolutely skill based. So these are some thoughts that I had, and yeah, I think it's looking very good, and I'm super excited to see more. So thanks for watching.